Hello Internet. So today, be cracking open a booster box for the newest set for Yu-Gi-Oh! Rise of the Duelist. But before that, so yesterday went to Walmart, figured, take a look at what they had for Yu-Gi-Oh! Stuff. And figured, buy out what they have for booster packs. That's it. This is all that they had for as far as booster packs went. 2 packs of Battles of Legend Armageddon, and 2 of these third-party Dimension of Chaos plus cards that they bought from somebody else's collection. Because it's only 4 of these guys, we'll just quickly go through them just to get it over and done with. Now, don't want to have to sit on these guys. Wait until I hopefully get enough packs to make a full video for them. So, you have Fulgo, Justice for Hire. Cannot be used as link material. If this card is link summoned, you can special summon 1 monster for hire with a different type from the 3 monsters used for link summon from your deck in defense position. If a card your opponent controls is destroyed by battle or card effect, you can draw 1 card. Then if you control 3 or more monsters for hire with different names, draw 2 additional cards. I mean, it seems decent enough. World Legacy Survivor. Excavate the top 5 cards of your deck, and if you do, add 1 excavated crawler monster or World Legacy card to your hand, and send the remaining cards to the graveyard. Otherwise, shuffle all excavated cards into the deck. For the rest of this turn, after this card resolves, you cannot special summon monsters from the extra deck except link monsters, and you can only activate 1 World Legacy Survivor per turn. Red Carpet, Mech Time Blast, Reboot, Red Dragon Vase, Abyss Warrior, Deep Sweeper, Lucky Iron Axe, and Gemini Spark. It's literally just... I'm not sure what set MP19 is, but for the most part it seems just to be... oh no, they're all from... well, that one's not. Most of them were from the same set, but it's usually what it is they'll buy... like if you ever look on like Star City Games, for example, and they sell, get X number of commons and things like that, and, or they'll buy people's collections and then just take all the cards that aren't worth anything and add them to these packs. I mean, the cards might be good, but they're just not worth anything, and it's not worth flipping. Number 28, Titanic Moth. Saber Shark, Warrior of Atlantis, Heraldic Beast Aberconway, 7 Tools of the Bandit, Tuner Capture, Dragon's Rage. Man, how old are some of these cards? Bunjinki Amaterasu, Raid Raptor, and Digital Bug Scaradiator. Yeah, I'll just quickly go through these guys. We have Raid Raptor, Wild Vulture. During your main phase, if this card was normal or special summoned this turn, you contribute this card. Special summon 2 Raid Raptor monsters from your hand or graveyard whose total levels equal 6. I mean, I guess that's not too bad overall. Pay life points in Psychic Blade. Pay life points in multiples of 100, max 2,000. Equip this card to a monster. It gains that much attack and defense. That's actually not bad. Super Soldier Rebirth. Target 1 Blackluster Soldier monster you control, send it to the graveyard, and if you do, special summon 1 Blackluster Soldier monster from your hand with a different name from that monster, ignoring its summoning conditions. During your main phase, except the turn this card was sent to the graveyard, you can banish this card from your graveyard, then target 1 Blackluster Soldier monster in your graveyard, add it to your hand. You can only activate one per turn. Oh, that's actually pretty good. Gateway to Chaos. When it's activated, add a Blackluster Soldier Ritual monster or Gaia the Fierce Knight monster from your deck to your hand. Each time a monster card is sent from the hand or field to graveyard, place one spell counter on this card for each of those cards, max 6. Once per turn, you can remove 3 spell counters from this card, add 1 ritual card from your deck to your hand. You can only add it once per turn. DDD Oblivion King Abyss Ragnarok. If you special summon a DD monster except during the damage step, you can target one DD monster in your graveyard. Any battle damage your opponent takes becomes halved for the rest of the turn. Also special summon that monster, and if you do, take 1000 damage. If this card is normal or special summoned, you can target one DDD monster in your graveyard, special summon it. You can only use this effect once per turn. Once per turn, you contribute one other DD monster, then target one monster your opponent controls, banish it. That's actually not too bad. Perform Age Plushfire. If a Perform Age monster you control is destroyed by battle or card effects, you can special summon this card from your Pendulum Zone, then take 500 damage. If this card on the field is destroyed by battle or card effects, you can special summon one Perform Age monster from your hand or deck except Plushfire. Once again, doesn't seem that bad. Raptor's Ultimate Mace. That's a spear. I'm not going to question it. Equip only to a Raid Raptor, gains 1000 attack. When the equipped monster is targeted for an attack by a monster whose attack is higher than the equipped monster, you can add one rank up magic spell card from your deck to your hand, and if you do, you take no battle damage from that battle. Dark Contract with the Witch. Send one DD or Dark Contract card from your hand to the graveyard, target one card on the field, destroy it. You can only use this effect once per turn. All field type monsters you control gain 1000 attack during your opponent's turn only. And once during your standby phase, take 1000 damage. Not quite sure how I feel about that. I mean, overall, it's quite a good card. Target one First Aid Squad. Target one normal monster in your graveyard. Add it to your hand. When a normal monster is destroyed by battle, you can special summon this card from your graveyard in defense position as a normal monster. This card is not treated as a trap card. You can only use this effect once per turn. If summoned this way, banish this card when it leaves the field. So, good for recycling your normal monsters, and it treats itself as a monster that's not a trap. So, can't complain. Super Soldier Soul. You can send one Blackluster Soldier monster from your hand to the graveyard. Until your opponent's next end phase, this card gain attack becomes 3000 and its name becomes Blackluster Soldier. You can banish this card from your graveyard, add one Beginning Night or Evening Twilight Night from your deck to your hand. You can only use each effect once per turn. Super Heavy Samurai Drum. If this card on the field is destroyed and sent to the graveyard, you can target one Super Heavy Samurai monster in your graveyard, except Samurai Drum. Special summon it. You can only use this effect once per turn. Ignite Veteran. The only thing he has is Pendulum effect. If you have an Ignite card in your Pendulum Zone, you can destroy both cards from your Pendulum Zone, and if you do, add one Fire Warrior type monster from your deck or graveyard to your hand. I mean, seems like decent enough for clearing out the Pendulum Zones. DD Swirl Slime. If this card is in your hand, you can fusion summon one DDD fusion monster from your extra deck using monsters from your hand as fusion materials, including this card. You can banish this card from your graveyard, special summon one DD monster from your hand. You can only use each effect once per turn. Super Soldier Ritual. Can be used to ritual summon any Blackluster Soldier ritual monster. You must also tribute monsters from your hand or field whose total levels equal 8 during your main phase, except the turn this card was sent to the graveyard. You can banish this card, one light monster and one dark monster from your graveyard. Special summon one Blackluster Soldier ritual monster from your hand. That's actually quite good. I like that. Gradle Impact. Target one other Gradle card you control and one card your opponent controls. Destroy them. During your end phase, you can add one Gradle card from your deck to your hand. You can only use it once, one effect per turn, and only once that turn. Super Heavy Samurai Soul Horns. Target one Super Heavy Samurai you control. Equip this monster from your hand or your side of the field to that target. It can make a second attack during each battle phase. While this card is equipped to a monster by this card effect, you can special summon this card. You can only use this effect once per turn. Dark Contract with the Gate. During your main phase, add one DD monster from your deck to your hand. You can only use this effect once per turn. And take 1,000 damage each standby phase. Dark Contract with Errors. Once per turn, if you control a DD monster, you can negate all trap card effects on the field other than this card's for the rest of this turn. Even this card leaves the field once per turn, take 1,000 damage. So, Battles of Legend Armageddon packs. I mean, I know why they use these blister packs. They're just kind of annoying to get into sometimes. So we have Miracle Rupture. Send one level 4 lower rock monster from your deck to the graveyard. Then if Fossil Fusion is in your graveyard, draw one card. It seems decent enough. Another Appliance or Copy Buckle. Another number 3 Numeron Gate Trini. Another Topological Zeroboros. And Kwaki Meru Drago. Only one of those I don't think I saw last time was Miracle Rupture when I did the booster box video. We have Invocation, Malefic Paradigm Dragon, Appliancer Laundry Dragon, Invoked Caliga, and Salamangreat Sunlight Wolf. So just do a quick pause here. Okay, so let's get into this. And hopefully I remember to actually, cut it where I said I'll take a quick pause. Otherwise, that's going to be an awkward pause in the video. There we go. So we have Dracoon Lamp. Once per turn, you can discard one Worm monster. This card gains 1,000 defense until the end of the turn. Once per battle, during damage calculation, if this attack position card battles an attack position monster quick effect, you can apply each card's defense for the damage calculation. So that's quite good. I mean, easily becomes 3,000 defense. Frightful Cruel Whale. If this card is fusion summoned, you can destroy one card on both fields. Once per turn quick effect, you can target one fusion monster you control, send one Frightful card from your deck or extra deck to the graveyard, except Cruel Whale, and if you do, the target monster gains attack equal to half its original attack until the end of this turn. That seems quite nice. We have a Fluffle Dolphin. Target one toy vendor in your graveyard, set it, and if you do, send one Fluffle monster or one Edge Imp Sabers from your deck to the graveyard. If this card is sent to the graveyard as a fusion material for a fusion summon, you can shuffle into the deck one of your fusion spells or polymerization spells that is banished or in your graveyard. Dogmatic Encounter. Dogmatica Encounter, I should say. Special summon 1 Dogmatica monsters or Fallen of Albaz from your hand. Add to your hand, or special summon 1 Dogmatica monster or Fallen of Albaz from your graveyard. I mean, decent enough for fetching out what you need. Raid Raptor Revolution Falcon Air Raid requires 3 level 6 Winged Beast monsters. You can also Xyz summon this card by discarding 1 rank up magic spell and using a rank 5 or lower Raid Raptor Xyz monster you control as material. Transfer its materials. If this card is Xyz summoned, you can target 1 monster your opponent controls, destroy it, and if it was face up, inflict damage to your opponent equal to the attack it had on the field. If this card is in your possession is destroyed by an opponent's card and sent to your graveyard, you can special summon 1 Raid Raptor Revolution Falcon from your extra deck, and if you do, attach this card to it as material. Huh. I mean, seems pretty decent. Man, that's tiny ass text. Indulged Dark Lord. If this card is normal or special summoned, you can take 2 Dark Lord monsters from your hand or deck with different levels, except Indulged Dark Lord. Special summon 1 of them to your opponent's field in defense position, and add the other to your hand. Also, you cannot activate monster effects for the rest of this turn except fairy monsters. Huh. Interesting. Ancient Warrior Saga, East by South Winds. You must send this card to the graveyard during your second standby phase after activation. Once per turn during your main phase, toss a coin, and if the result is heads, send this card to the graveyard. If this card is sent from the spell and trap zone to the graveyard, you can activate this effect. This turn, your opponent cannot activate cards or effects in response to the activation of your Ancient Warrior cards and effects. Also, until the end of the turn, all Ancient Warrior effect monsters you currently control gain this effect. When this card declares an attack, you can destroy 1 card your opponent controls. I'm not sure how I feel about this one, because it requires you to win a coin flip to get its effect off, or wait 2 turns. So, I mean, your opponent can set up for it. Really powerful effect. I'm just not sure how I feel about it. Spiral Discharge. When Gaia the Dragon Champion is in your monster zone, your opponent's monsters can only target Gaia the Dragon Champion for attacks. When an attack is declared involving your Gaia the Dragon Champion, you can target 1 card on the field, destroy it. You can only use this effect once per turn. I mean, decent enough effect. Mathmech Diameter. I English could speak right now. Mathmech Diameter. When this card is normal summoned, you can target 1 level 4 Cyberse monster in your graveyard, special summon it, but it cannot activate its effects. A Mathmech monster that was Synchro or Xyz summoned using this card on the field as material gains the effects. Once per turn during the turn this card was special summoned, when your opponent activates a card or effect, quick effect, you can negate that effect. You can only use each effect once per turn. We have Melfi Mommy. Once per turn, quick effect, you can attach 1 beast monster from your hand or face-up field to this card as material. This card gains effects based on the number of material attached to it. 3+, cannot be destroyed by battle. 4+, you take no damage from battles involving this card. And 5+, when an attack is declared involving this card, an attack position monster, you can inflict damage to your opponent equal to that attack position monster's attack. So, I mean, that actually seems pretty decent. I mean, you can easily get it to be 3+ at the start, so you have a decent wall. Curse of Dragon, the Cursed Dragon. I think I got this one from the, what was it? The Season 1 packs. If this card is normal or special summoned, you can add 1 spell or trap in your deck to your hand that specifically lists Gaia the Dragon Champion in its text. If this card is sent to the graveyard, you can target one Gaia the Dragon champion in your monster zone, negate the effects of face-up monsters your opponent currently controls with attack less than or equal to it until the end of the turn. You can only use each effect of Curse of Dragon, the Cursed Dragon, once per turn. We have another Dogmatic Encounter, another Freight for Cruel Whale, Infernoble Knight Augur. While this card is an equipped card, the equipped monster cannot be destroyed by card effects. You can only use each effect once per turn. If this card is normal or special summoned, you can send one Noble Arms card or one Fire Warrior monster except Infernoble Knight Augur from your deck to the graveyard. If this card is in your graveyard, you can target one warrior monster you control, equip this card to that monster you control. I mean, fair enough. Dogmatica Theo, the Iron Punch. Cannot be destroyed by battle with a monster special summoned from the extra deck. You can only use each of the following effects once per turn. If a monster special summoned from the extra deck is on the field, you can special summon this card from your hand. You can target one face-up monster on the field that was special summoned from the extra deck. Until the end of this turn, this card gains 600 attack, and if it does, the targeted monster loses 600 attack. I mean, decent enough effects. Good anti-extra deck support. Melfi Hide and Seek. The first time each beast monster you control would be destroyed by card effects each turn. It is not destroyed. You can target level 3 beast monsters in your graveyard with different names, shuffle them into the deck, then draw one card. You can only use this effect once per turn. Horn of Oliphant. Activate one of the effects. Banish one equipped spell you control in your graveyard. Then you can destroy one card on the field. Pretty decent. Destroy one roll-in monster you control, then special summon in defense position up to 3 Fire Warrior monsters from your deck whose total level equals 9. But their effects are negated also until the end of your next turn. After this effect resolves, you cannot special summon monsters except warrior monsters. And Drill Driver Vespenato. Once per turn, you can also Xyz by using a rank 4 Xyz monster you control as material. This card cannot be used as material for an Xyz summon the turn it was Xyz. If this card attacks a defense position monster, inflict piercing battle damage. If this Xyz summoned card is in its owner's graveyard if this Xyz summoned card in its owner's control is destroyed by an opponent's card effect, you can target one level 5 or lower monster in your graveyard, special summon it. You can only use this effect once per turn. We have Capricious Dark Lord. During the main phase, if you can activate this effect, tribute summon one fairy monster face up. If this card is sent to the graveyard, you can make all monsters your opponent currently controls lose 500 attack and defense for each fairy monster on the field until the end of the turn. You can only use each effect once per turn. So is that just have the ability to tribute a fairy monster? Oh no, tribute summon one fairy monster face up. I see what's going on with it. Melfi Playhouse. Detach any number of materials from beast Xyz monsters you control, then target up to that many cards your opponent controls, return them to the hand. Also, all beast Xyz monsters you control gain 500 attack for each material detached to activate this card until end of turn. Linker Bell. You cannot link summon this card unless you have at least 3 more cards in your extra deck than your opponent's. Unauthorized boot up device. Once per turn, you can either target one face-up monster you control, equip this card to that target, or unequip this card and special summon it. If the equipped monster would be destroyed by battle or card effects, destroy this card instead. If this card is destroyed and sent to the graveyard while equipped on a monster, you can special summon this card. You can only use this effect once per turn. I mean, it seems like a decent enough way to keep your other monsters around. Infernal Arms Joyeuse. While this card is equipped to a monster, you can target one fire warrior in your graveyard, add it to your hand, then destroy this card. If this card is sent to the graveyard because the equipped monster is sent to the graveyard, you can special summon one fire warrior monster from your hand. You can only use each effect once per turn, and only once that turn. Spiral Fusion. Fusion summon one Dragon Fusion monster from your extra deck. Using monsters on your field or using monsters from your hand or field as fusion material. If you special summon Gaia the Dragon Champion by this effect, it gains 2600 attack and can make up to 2 attack on monsters during each battle phase. Another Vispanto. Infernal Arms Hauteclair. While this card is equipped to a monster, you can target one face-up monster you control. This turn you cannot declare attacks except with that monster. Also gains the ability this turn to make a second attack during each battle phase, then destroy this card. If this card is sent to the graveyard because the equipped monster is sent to the graveyard, you can target one face-up monster on the field, destroy it. You can only use each effect once per turn and only once that turn. And Machina Resavager. Quick effect, you can send this card from your hand or field to the graveyard, target one Machina monster you control, gains 1200 attack until the end of the turn. When your Machina monster destroys an opponent's monster by battle, while this card is in your graveyard, you can add this card to your hand. You can only use each effect once per turn. That means decent little Machina support, I guess. DD Arc. Target one Pendulum Summoned monster your opponent controls. Destroy both that monster and this card. You can only use this effect once per turn. And if this card is destroyed by card effects, you can special summon one face-up DD Pendulum monster from your extra deck, except DD Arc, but its effects are negated. You can only use this effect once per turn. Another Dracoon Lamp. Spiral Reborn. Target one level 7 or lower Dragon monster in your graveyard, special summon it. If you special summon a Gaia the Dragon Champion by this effect, your opponent cannot target it with card effects and it cannot be destroyed by their card effects. Melfi Feni. If your opponent normal or special summons a monster except during the damage step, or if an opponent's monster targets this card for an attack, you return this card to the hand. Then you can special summon one beast monster from your hand except Melfi Feni. During your battle phase, during your end phase, you can special summon this card from your hand. Oh, that's pretty decent way of getting out stuff. Win the Wind Channeler. It's always treated as a charmer card. You can discard this card on one other wind monster. Add one wind monster with 1500 or less defense from your deck to your hand, except Win the Wind Channeler. Also, you cannot activate monster effects for the rest of this turn except wind monsters. When a wind monster you control is destroyed by battle while this card is in your hand, you can special summon this card. You can only use each effect once per turn. I mean, decent enough. Perform a PAL card Gardna. Once per turn, you can target one face-up defense position monster you control. Its defense becomes equal to the combined original defense of all the face-up defense position monsters you currently control, even if this card leaves the field. Huh. That's rather interesting. And gains defense equal to the combined original defense of all other Performa PAL monsters you control. So it's a wall. Another Machina Resavager. Junk Sleep. If your opponent normal or special summons a monster, you can change all face-down defense position monsters you control to face-up attack position. During the end phase, you can change all monsters you control to face-down defense position. You can only use each effect once per turn. Dogmatic Punishment. Target one face-up monster your opponent controls, send one monster with an equal or higher attack from your extra deck to the graveyard, and if you do, destroy that monster. Until the end of your next turn, after this card resolves, you cannot special summon monsters from the extra deck. You can only activate one Dogmatic Punishment per turn. Not quite sure how I feel about it. I mean, being able to just point and click at any monster with fairly low cost isn't bad. Just point, click, and it goes away. We have Melfi Tag. Target one Melfi monster in your graveyard, special summon it. You can only activate one Melfi Tag per turn. Fury of Kairyoshin. Add one Torrential Tribute from your deck to your hand. If a water monster you control would be targeted by card effects, you can banish this card from your graveyard instead. You can only use each effect once per turn. Dogmatica Nation. Neither player can target Dogmatica monsters you control with effects of monsters that were special summoned from the extra deck. You can only use each of the following effects once per turn. After damage calculation, if your Dogmatica monsters on the battled an opponent's monster, destroy that opponent's monster. And if this face-up card in the field zone is destroyed by an opponent's card effect, you can have each player send one monster from their extra deck to the graveyard. I mean, seems decent enough. Galloping Gaia. Your opponent cannot activate cards or effects during the battle phase while Gaia the Dragon Champion is in your monster zone. You can activate one of the following effects. You can reveal Gaia the Fierce Knight from your hand. Add one level 5 dragon monster from your deck to your hand. And you can reveal level 5 dragon to add Gaia the Fierce Knight. So it basically lets you set up for summoning Gaia the Dragon Champion. Yaminabe Party. At the start of your battle phase, you can target one face-up monster you control. This turn, after your opponent chooses the attack targets for that monster. Also, if that monster you control battles an opponent's monster, it gains attack equal to its original attack during damage calculation only. You can only use this effect once per turn. That's interesting. Infernoble Knight Astolfo. Banish one Fire Warrior monster from your hand or graveyard. Special summon this card from your hand. Then you can make this card's level become the level of that banished monster. You can banish this card from your graveyard. Special summon this banished card during your second standby phase after the effect's activation. Then you can special summon one of your Fire Warrior monsters that is banished or in your graveyard. I mean, seems decent enough for setting up Xyz or what have you. Infernoble Knight Captain Roland. If this card is synchro summoned, you can activate this effect. During the end phase of this turn, send one equip spell from your deck to the graveyard, then add one warrior monster from your deck to your hand. During the main phase, if this card is in your graveyard, you can target one warrior monster you control, equip this card to the monster you control as an equipped spell that gives it 500 attack. DD Evil. Once while this card is in your pendulum zone, when your opponent's pendulum summons a monster, you can activate this effect. This turn, that pendulum summoned monster cannot attack, also its effects are negated. And cannot attack unless you control another DD monster. During your opponent's main phase, you can target one face-up pendulum summoned monster your opponent controls, negate that face-up monster's effects until the end of this turn. You can only use this effect once per turn. I mean, fair enough. And another Melfi Hide and Seek. We have Freight for Repair. Target one Fright Fur Fusion monster in your graveyard, return it to the extra deck, then you can special summon one Fluffle or Edge Imp monster from your graveyard. You can banish this card from your graveyard. Special summon one Fluffle or Edge Imp monster from your hand. You can only use one Fright for Repair per turn and only once that turn. Another unauthorized boot up device. Dark Lord Uprising. Send one Dark Lord monster from your hand or face-up field to the graveyard. Fusion summon one Dark Fusion monster from your extra deck using monsters from your hand or field as fusion material. Then you can gain life points equal to the original attack of the monster sent to the graveyard to activate this card. Huh. Interesting. Dogmatic Nexus. Cannot be normal summoned or set. Must be special summoned by its own effect. You can target 4 Fusion, Synchro, Xyz, and or Link monsters in the graveyards. Special summon this card from your hand, and if you do, banish them. At the start of the damage step, if this card battles a special summon monster, destroy all your opponent's attack position monsters, then inflict 800 damage to your opponent for each Fusion, Synchro, Xyz, and Link monsters destroyed by this effect. Wow. Dogmatica Adin the Enlightened. Cannot be destroyed by battle with a monster special summoned from the extra deck. You can only use each of the effects once per turn. If a monster special summoned from the extra deck is on the field, you can special summon this card from your hand. If this card on the field is destroyed by battle or card effects, you can special summon 1 Dogmatica monster from your deck except the Enlightened. Another Spiral Fusion. Melfi Pony. If your opponent normal or special summons monsters except during the damage step, or an opponent's monster targets the card for an attack, you can return this card to your hand. Then you can add 1 level 2 or lower beast monster from your graveyard to your hand except Melfi Pony. During your end phase, you can special summon this card from your hand. You can only use each effect once per turn. Another Spiral Discharge, and another Haute Claire. We have Capricious Dark Lord, Abyss Actor Twinkle Little Star. You cannot pendulum summon monsters except Abyss Actor monsters. This effect cannot be negated. Once per turn, you can target 1 Abyss Actor monster you control. This turn, it can make up to 3 attacks on monsters each battle phase. Also, other monsters you control cannot attack for the rest of the turn. And it cannot be destroyed by battle during your turn. This card can make up to 3 attacks on monsters during each battle phase. I mean, if you have a way of getting it around, like a way to increase its attack, that's actually not too bad. Melfi Playhouse. Detach any number of materials from Beast Xyz monsters you control, then target up to that many cards your opponent controls, return them to the hand. Also, all Beast Xyz monsters you control gain 500 attack. Another Melfi Mommy. We have Titanic Clad the Ash Dragon. Acquires Fallen of Albaz and a monster with 2500 or more attack. Gains attack equal to the combined original levels of the monsters used for its fusion summon times 100. After this card is fusion summoned for the rest of this turn, it is unaffected by the activated effects of any other monster special summoned from the extra deck. During the end phase, if this card is in the graveyard because it was sent there this turn, you can add it to your hand. Add to your hand or special summon 1 Fallen of Albaz or Dogmatic monster from your deck. You can only use each effect once per turn. Another Ancient Warrior Saga. We have Edge Imp Scythe. During your opponent's main phase, you can reveal this card in your hand, fusion summon 1 Frightful fusion monster from your extra deck using monsters from your hand or field as fusion materials, including this card in your hand. If a Frightful fusion monster you control would be destroyed by battle or card effects, you can banish this card from your graveyard instead. So, I mean, it's basically polymerization. Megalith Fool. You can ritual summon this card with a Megalith card. If this card is ritual summoned, you can target 1 ritual monster in your graveyard. This card's level becomes the level of that target. Then add the target to your hand. During the main phase, you can activate this effect. Ritual summon 1 Megalith ritual monster from your hand or deck by tributing monsters from your hand or field whose total levels equal or exceed the level of the ritual monster. So it's a, basically it's a ritual monster, or a ritual spell monster, I guess you could say, for Megaliths. And Melfi Rabby. Look at it, it's so cute and fluffy. We have Infernoble Knight Maugus. While this is an equipped card, the equipped monster cannot be destroyed by battle. You can only use each of the effects once per turn. If the card is sent to the graveyard, you can shuffle into the deck 3 of your other Fire Warrior monsters and or Noble Arms cards that are banished or in the graveyard. Draw 1 card. If this card is in your graveyard, you can target 1 warrior monster you control, equip this card to that monster you control. Dark Lord Nurgle. If your fairy monsters attack a defense position monster, inflict piercing battle damage to your opponent, you can pay 1,000 life points, target 1 Dark Lord spell or trap in your graveyard, apply that target's effect, then shuffle the target into the deck. You can only use this effect once per turn, and you can only special summon him once per turn. Another Melfi Mommy. Dogmatica Nation. Revenge Rally. Target 1 face-up monster your opponent controls. Equip this card to that target. It gains 500 attack and defense. If this card is sent to the graveyard because the equipped monster has left the field, draw 1 card. Or if you activated this card this turn, draw 2 cards, then discard 1 card instead. You can only use this effect once per turn. Another Ancient Warrior Saga. Another Indulgent Dark Lord. Another Dogmatic Theo the Iron Punch. And another Haute Claire. So we have another Curse of Dragon. Dogmatic Encounter. Fright for Cruel Well, DD Arc, Soldier Gaia the Fierce Knight. You can tribute 1 Dragon Fusion monster, special summon this card from your hand. If this card is special summoned, you can target 1 attack position monster on the field, change it to defense position. You can tribute this card, add 1 level 7 or warrior higher monster from your deck to your hand except Soldier Gaia the Fierce Knight, and you can only use each effect once per turn. Not quite sure how I feel about him. I mean, he's Gaia the Fierce Knight. Well, you can tribute 1 Dragon Fusion monster. So, I mean, if you have a way of getting a cheap body out, it's not too bad. Like a cheap Dragon Fusion. Super Heavy Samurai Scarecrow. Cannot be used as link material. When you have no spell or traps in your graveyard, you take no battle damage from attacks involving this card. If you have no spell or traps in your graveyard, you can discard 1 monster, then target 1 Super Heavy Samurai monster in your graveyard, special summon it to your zone this card points to. In defense position, you can only use this effect once per turn. I mean, it seems decent enough. As far as I know, the Super Heavies don't normally run spells or traps anyways, so. We have Fright for a Jar. This card's name becomes Toy Vendor while on the field or in the graveyard. Once per turn, you can discard 1 card, draw 1 card, and show it. Then if it is an Edge Imp monster, you can destroy 1 card on the field. Otherwise, place 1 card from your hand on the top or bottom of the deck. If this card is sent to the graveyard, you can target 1 face-up monster your opponent controls, have its attack until the end of the turn. So, I mean, if it wasn't for requiring you to discard a card to draw the card, that'd be a pretty good way of filtering cards, because if it's not an Edge Imp, then you have to put it on top or the bottom. We have another Indulged Dark Lord and another Math Mech. So we have a Thunder Hand. If a face-up monster you control with 1600 original attack or defense is destroyed by battle or an opponent's card effect and sent to the graveyard while this card is in your hand or graveyard, you can special summon this card but banish it when it leaves the field. And if you do, destroy 1 card your opponent controls. You can only use this effect once per turn. Not quite sure how I feel about that, because it's very specific, like 1600 original attack or defense. And it has to be destroyed by an opponent's card effect. Oh no, by battle or an opponent's card effect. Okay, so you just have something attack into a monster, it's destroyed, you can special summon this and blow up a card on the field, so that's not too bad. Another Dogmatica Nexus. Diced Dice. Roll a 6-sided die. Add 1 card from your deck to your hand that requires a die roll. If you roll a number other than 1 or 6, roll it again and apply the appropriate effect. 2, 3, 4, or 5, place this card on top of the deck. Or 1 or 6, return this card to your hand. So it's a 1 in 3 chance of tutoring out something that requires a die roll. Capricious Dark Lord. Infernal Knight Emperor Charles. If an equip card becomes equipped to a monster on the field, even during the damage step, you can destroy 1 card on the field. During the end phase, you can equip spell from your hand or graveyard to this card, then you can equip 1 Fire Warrior monster from your deck to this card as an equipped spell that gives it 500 attack. Seems decent enough. 1 tuner and 1 non-tuner monster. He's level 9, but... Another DD Evil. Another Super Heavy Samurai Scarecrow. Another Milfy Rabby. And another Infernal Knight Estoful. Dracoon Lamp. Spiral Reborn. Milfy Fenny. Fright for Repair. Rampaging Smash Tank Rhino Saber. You can discard any number of cards. This card gains 700 attack for each discarded. At the end of the battle phase, if this card battled, you can send this card to the graveyard, special summon monsters from your graveyard whose total levels equal 7, except Rampaging Smash Tank Rhino Saber, but their effects are negated. You can only use each effect once per turn. That seems pretty interesting. You can just special summon any number of monsters whose total levels equal 7. It's not has to be machine or fire or anything like that, so it seems quite good. Heavenly Dragon Circle. Tribute 1 worm monster, add 1 worm monster from your deck to your hand, or if you tribute a non-effect monster to activate this card, you can special summon it instead but negate its effects. During your main phase, if you control a face-up non-effect monster, you can banish this card from your graveyard, add 1 Tenyi card from your deck to your hand. You can only use 1 effect per turn and only once that turn. We have Captain Roland. If this card is synchro summoned, you can activate this effect. During the end phase of this turn, send 1 equip card from your deck to the graveyard, then add 1 warrior monster from your deck to your hand. During the main phase, if this card is in your graveyard, you can target 1 warrior monster you control, equip this card to that monster you control as an equip spell that gives it 500 attack. Another Dogmatic Theo, and Milfy Hide and Seek. We have another Linker Bell, Infernal Knight Mogus, Milfy Fenny, Fluffle Dolphin, the First Dark Lord. Your opponent cannot target fairy monsters you control with card effects. You can only use one of the following effects of the First Dark Lord per turn and only once that turn. If this card is fusion summoned using Dark Lord Morningstar as material, you can destroy all cards your opponent controls. And during the main phase, you can pay 1,000 life points, special summon 1 fairy monster from your hand or graveyard in defense position. I like him. Red Potan. You can target 1 Potan monster you control, treat it as a tuner until the end of the next turn. If a monster is synchro summoned while you control this monster, you can special summon 1 Potan monster from your hand or deck. You can use each effect once per turn. Interesting. Agent Scythe, Vespinato, and another Megalith Fool. authorized boot up device, Dark Lord Uprising, Dogmatica Nexus, Infernoble Knight Malgus, Raid Raptor Arsenal Falcon, Horn of Oliphant, Vespinato, Card Gardna, and Resavenger. Pretty sure that one was the first rare that I'd pulled, wasn't it? Yeah, Air Raid. Oh no, it was a different one, okay. So once per turn, you can detach one material from this card, special summon one level 4 Winged Beast monster from your deck. If this card has any number of Raid Raptor monsters with material, it can attack up to that many times during each battle phase. If this card is sent to the graveyard while it has a Raid Raptor monster as material, you can special summon one Raid Raptor Xyz monster from your extra deck, except Raid Raptor, and if you do, attach this card from your graveyard to it as material. So, seems good enough. We have a DD Arc, Galloping Gaia, Fright for Repair, Twinkle Little Star, Gaia the Magical Knight of Dragons. This card's name becomes Gaia the Dragon Champion while on the field. You can only use each effects once per turn. During the main phase, you can target one other card on the field. This card loses exactly 2600 attack, and if it does destroy that card, while this card destroys an opponent's monster by battle, you can make this card gain 2600 attack. So, a bit of a downside that his attack goes down to use this effect, but then again it keeps going up anyway, so that's actually, I like that one. Another Junk Sleep, Red Potan, Card Gardna, and Heavenly Dragon Circle. Dark Lord Nurgle, Melfi Mommy, Dogmatica Nation, Thunderhand, Ancient Warrior Oath Double Dragon Lords. 2 Beast Warrior monsters, including a Wind Ancient Warriors monster. All Ancient Warrior monsters you control gain 500 attack and defense. You can only use each of the following effects once per turn. If this card is link summoned, you can add one Ancient Warriors card from your deck to your hand. Quick effect, you can send one card from your hand or field to the graveyard, then target one face-up card your opponent controls, return it to the hand. I mean, seems decent enough. Junk Sleep, Dogmatica Punishment, Spiral Fusion, and Melfi Pony. We have Curse of Dragon, Dark Lord Uprising, Dogmatica Nexus, Dice to Dice, Rika Queen Strenna. Oh, it's a plant. You can detach one material from this card, then target one plant monster or Rika card in your graveyard, add it to your hand. If this card with Xyz material is tributed, you can special summon one rank 5 or higher plant Xyz monster from your extra deck or graveyard. Then you can attach this card to it as material. You can only use each effect once per turn. I mean, that seems decent enough. Horn of Oliphant, Melfi Pony, Dogmatica Punishment, and Freight for Jar. Another Dogmatica Nexus, Dice Dice, Capricious Dark Lord, Linker Bell, Gaia the Fierce Knight Origin. This card can be treated as 2 tributes for the tribute summoning of a warrior monster. You can only use each effects of Gaia the Fierce Knight Origin once per turn. You can send one level 5 or higher monster from your hand to the graveyard, special summon this card from your hand. During the battle phase, you can banish this card from your graveyard, then target one monster on the field whose current attack is different from its original attack. Its attack becomes its original attack. Oh. So you could use him to reset the magical Gaia. Play him on the field, use his effect, discard him from the graveyard to reset it to 2600 attack. Spiral Discharge, Haute Claire, East by South Winds, and Indulged Dark Lord. Another Melfi Fenny, Thunderhand, Dark Lord Nurgle, Melfi Mommy, another Infernoble Knight Oliver. While this card is in the equip card, your opponent cannot target the equipped monster with card effects. You can only use each of the following effects once per turn. Send one Fire Warrior monster or equipped spell from your hand or field, or face-up field to the graveyard. Special summon this card from your hand as a level 1 monster. If this card is in your graveyard, you can target one more warrior monster you control. Equip this card to that monster you control. Dogmatic Theo, Indulged Dark Lord, Ancient Warrior Saga, and Spiral Discharge. So we have another Mogus, Fenny, Fluffle Dolphin, DD Arc, Dogmatica Maximus. You can banish one Fusion, Synchro, Xyz, or Lynx monster from your graveyard. Special summon this card from your hand. During your main phase, you can activate this effect. Send 2 monsters with different names from your extra deck to the graveyard. Also, your opponent sends 2 monsters from their extra deck to the graveyard. Also, you cannot special summon from the extra deck for the rest of this turn. Huh. That seems quite good. Dogmatica Theo, the Iron Punch, Haute Claire, DD Evil, and another Super Heavy Samurai Scarecrow. We have Dogmatica Nation, Thunderhand, Dogmatica Nexus, Dice to Dice, Ret Time Reviver Emit Tear. And yes, I know it's Ret Time and Emit Tear is the same forward and backwards. If this card is in your hand or graveyard, you can target one face-up monster on each field, change them to face-down defense position, and if you do, special summon this card, but banish it when it leaves the field. You can only use this effect once per turn. I mean, decent enough effect, easy to bring out. Math Mech, Spiral Fusion, Vispinato, and Haute Claire. We have another Galloping Gaia, Fright for Repair, Twinkle Little Star, Curse of Dragon, DD Dog. You can target one Fusion, Synchro, or Xyz monster your opponent controls, negate its effects until the end of this turn, then destroy this card. You can only use this effect once per turn. And once per turn, if your opponent special summons a Fusion, Synchro, or Xyz monsters, except during the damage step, you can target one of those monsters this turn. That face-up monster cannot attack, also its effects are negated. I mean, 6-star, but it's a decent enough effect. Another Melfi Rabbi, Infernoble Knight Astolfo, Red Potan, and Edge Imp Scythe. We have Capricious Dark Lord, Linker Bell, Infernoble Knight Mogus, Melfi Fenny, Artillery Catapult Turtle. You can tribute one monster, special summon one Gaia, the Fierce Knight monster, or one level 5 Dragon monster from your hand or deck. You can only use this effect once per turn. Machinari Scavenger, Astolfo, Captain Roland, and DD Evil. a Dark Lord Uprising, Dogmatica Nexus, Dice to Dice, Melfi Fenny, Melfi Puppy. If your opponent normal or special summons a monster except during the damage step, or if an opponent's monster targets this card for an attack, you can return this card to the hand, then you can special summon one level 2 or lower beast monster from your deck except Melfi Puppy. During your end phase, you can special summon this card from your hand. You can only use each effect once per turn. Vespinato, Megalith Fool, Junk Sleep, and Red Potan. And the last pack. We have Fluffle Dolphin, DD Arc, Galloping Gaia, Fight for Repair, Magellanica, the Deep Sea City. Its name is always treated as Umi, which I'm pretty sure means that you would not be able to have him in there along with Umi. When this card is activated, you can place one water monster from your deck on top of your deck. Once per turn, you can target one water monster you control and increase its level by 1 or 2 until the end of the turn. Once per turn during your main phase, if you special summon a water synchro monster, you can look at your opponent's hand, and if you do, banish one card from it face up until the end phase. I mean, seems decent enough. Melfi Hide and Seek, Ancient Warriors East by South Winds, Edge Imp Scythe, and Megalith Fool. So that's it for the unboxing. So thank you for watching. If you like this video, please like, comment, subscribe. You know the routine by now. I'm sure you've seen other videos on YouTube. So thank you.